you watched the fight. You didn't go to the fight.
No, but I did watch it.
Yeah. Did you watch it with some of the boys?
I watched it with Harry, Gibbo, Max, and Alfie.
Sick.
Yeah.
How was it? How was the viewing experience?
We had a little Gibbard
Doritos.
We had the little, what do you call it? The
share platter
thing, sharing platter.
Yeah.
No alcohol, just waters and root beers and diet Cokes, but natural ones like
wholesome energy,
Karma Cola and fair trade and shit. I like that. No, it was nice. Gibbo was loving it, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it. That's what he lives and breathes, isn't it?
Yeah, it was nice to watch it with Gib because normally he's involved, isn't he? So you never really get to experience it with him and see his perspective. So
yeah, and he will also just know way more about the whole thing, right?
Yeah, and after every fight, we're like, do you reckon you smoke him? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, no, it was
what did you... All right, so off the bat, I'm just going to ask you, which was your favorite fight?
Probably the Dean the Great versus Wild Sharks fight because it actually was sick. And
good level.
He came back at the end as well, and I was like, oh shit, that was a good level fight. Yeah, I don't really know my boxing, but you can just tell when you're watching them, this is real shit, man.
It was cold as fuck. I'm not going to lie, in person. So this card in general was a real mixed bag of the fights were either really good or just a bit boring. For me, I think my favorite was either the Dean the Great one, but I also loved the Salt Puppy and Slim one. Just because, you know what, in the first round I thought, oh my God, Salt Puppy's about to get embarrassed. Oh, sorry, no, Slim is about to get embarrassed. Salt Puppy was so much quicker than him, just dancing around him. And I was there this is a wrap. And then in true Slim fashion, I'm not gonna lie, I thought his whole gimmick about the right hand actually being, what does he call it,
sniper.
The sniper, I thought it was just a bit of a gimmick. He legit lands this one clean shot on Papi's chin and it was a wrap.
Yeah, it was a great fight, to be fair, man. You could tell Salt Pappy technically is much better, but
it doesn't matter.
Slim, don't matter, man. Slim was there for a war and he turned it into that and it worked.
It was sick. I love that fight.
Still undefeated now.
Is Slim undefeated? Yeah,
he's never lost, right?
And I think one of the criticisms Slim always got was his level of opponent. It was never really that high, but it's safe to say Salt Puppy is... everybody respects Salt Puppy's level.
Yeah, we still respect him. He's still obviously one of the best. And he did lose a lot of weight. So
do you think that played into a big part of the KO?
Maybe.
Or I think it was
maybe.
Because when you lose weight like that, your chin's weaker, right?
He definitely lost a bit of power from losing the weight.
Huh?
He definitely lost a bit of power from losing the weight, for sure.
But it messes with your cardio as well, doesn't it? Losing that much weight in that kind of time. Yeah, because you're fighting a different weight. Yeah. Complete different. It was a big...
different game,
it was a big drop off as well. He used to be quite some boy, chunky boy. But he's in amazing shape now.
Yeah.
Can look forward to
I love that fight. Congratulations to Slim.
I want to see Slim versus Gib now, by the way.
That is, for me, out of all this, besides maybe KSI Jake Paul, that is the fight to be made.
Oh, 100%.
At all costs.
Where's Slim from?
Yemen.
Because Gibbs only lost to Jake Paul, right? Just one loss. Am I right?
Yes.
He's beaten everyone else. His comeback was amazing. And his last fights actually have all been very convincing.
Yes.
So Slim's undefeated. Yeah. And to be honest, with Jake Paul fought Slim, we know Jake Paul wins there. So it's Slim and Gib, that's a good matchup.
I'm there for that. We'll go through this. The next two fights. We're not going to go through every single one because I just don't care enough.
People get annoyed as well when we waffle about.
Can I make a quick shout out to Tempo Arts? Actually, did you?
I love Tempo Arts.
Right, look, I know he shouldn't have won.
Yeah, he shouldn't have won that fight. I don't think.
That geezer is just got a chin of fucking iron.
He's a legend. He took some shots. Very nice guy. I like Tempo Arts.
I was rooting for him in the venue. I was a big fan of it. So shout out to him for winning that one. So yeah, congratulations. Next up, we had the co-main event. Dylan Dennis. Now, I actually have quite a lot of thoughts on this. Let's get that. Let's get that monster.
Stanislav pulling up. Whoa!
Yeah. I like that.
We got
and a protein bar. We'll talk about. Oh yeah. Oh, high protein, low sugar. Just for you.
Yeah, that's my dog. So what's going on with the cups now?
Hey, explain
this to me.
Look. This is for
business.
I don't like drinking out of cups, man. I've got a phobia of them.
You've got a fear of cups.
Especially if they're these kind of tin can type beat.
All right, let's talk about the co-main event because this had a lot of people talking and rightly so. So instantly, Dylan Dennis goes out there on his guard, with his high guard. Anybody that thought Dylan Dennis was going to go in there and box, we've seen Dylan Dennis's level of boxing. That's why everyone predicted Logan Paul KO or Logan Paul win, was because everyone knows Dylan Dennis is not a good boxer.
Yeah.
It's suicidal for him to go in there and throw haymakers. That was never going to happen. So when I see people on Twitter complaining about Dylan Dennis not throwing, boring, what did you expect?
Yeah.
He's a troll. He was always going to come in here and troll. I'm not really sure why people, one, were annoyed, and two, this is going to be controversial. It was a Dylan Dennis W.
In the sense that, because he went in there, honestly, I really thought he was going to get battered in one round. So the fact that he made it the whole way, I mean, yeah, he came out like injured. You saw his face, but it wasn't like, there was no point where he looked like he was going to get knocked out, rocks or anything.
He was never going to win this fight.
No.
Right? So the fact that he's rocked up there, gone all 6 rounds, and he got away with saying the most outrageous things about a man's fiance.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty
like some
wild.
outrageous shit. And he walked away with a couple of bruises.
Unchecked.
Collected his bag. I think that is... Dylan Dennis was walking away from this going, dub.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. He 100% is.
And I think Logan Paul, while he was clearly the better boxer, he couldn't get thingy out of there. And I'm not saying that he should have, whatever. I get when you're fighting against somebody that literally just walking around like this, it's difficult. But he will have wanted so badly
I think
to
Logan
knock him out.
Played it right as well, though, you know. Because he did say before the fight, he was like, look, I forgive him. I'm not going to go in there and get emotional and fight emotionally. I'm just going to play it smart, tactically and smooth, whatever. He said all that. And he did do that, to be fair. There was probably one moment in the fight where he started unloading crazily like he did against Mayweather, where he starts doing the ones from the side. Yeah. But I think him not going too crazy or getting emotional in there was smart, because it meant that he was never going to get caught, and he didn't really gas out, which everyone thought was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair with Logan, it didn't look like there was any point where he was gassing out. And you could tell in the clinch every now and then, Dylan would push off and swing for that crazy one. And that was the only chance he had of winning it. He knew that.
Yeah.
But because Logan played it a little bit smart as well.
So then we get to the final bit, and this is where it all kicked off. And it being in the arena was actually kind of epic. And I think this is why when people are like, oh, it's boring, or like, this was a shit fight. This was an amazing fight. I loved it because it was drama. It was carnage. It's exactly what I thought this fight was going to be.
Yeah.
Right? And right at the end, he goes for like this guillotine. He tries to do it. And admittedly, fair play to Logan, his takedown defense, his stats went up because he tried to take him down twice and he didn't take him down. And it was an obvious DQ.
A takedown would have been amazing. Like,
just get him in a submission where he's like tapping out. That's crazy. And I think that was actually Dylan's original plan, but he couldn't take down Logan.
It was they're probably just too sweaty and slippy and shit at the end, and it's just
it was funny. Anyways, it all kicks off. All like the security, bro. I'm surprised the ring still stayed up. There was about 100 security guys in there.
That was mad when Dylan took the swing for the security guard.
The big, and everything. I was like, you're brave. That was interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I thought, I guess Logan will be walking away like, I won. But I know deep down Logan's probably annoyed that he didn't get him out of there. Yeah. And Dylan, he's probably a little bit annoyed that he didn't get to go full troll and actually like take down Logan. But he's probably also walking away with his money, and his troll fans probably look at him going,
Does he lose any of the purse for being DQ'd? How's that work?
There was talk about that. You know what? Had he just walked in there,
I don't think so,
done something and got DQ'd and walked out, I would have thought that he would have, he probably would have some sort of, but it was right at the end of the 6th round. He gave the people a show in some sense. I think he's probably going to get his money. And not only that, but he's got a lawsuit to fight. So I can't imagine him doing anything now. He was turning up for the bag.
Well, he was out in Manchester the night before. Do you remember that?
I saw that.
Yeah,
it was shots of tequila.
I don't think he was drinking though, you know.
No, he was just there with
I don't
girls.
think he was drinking. I just think he was there. And like it was like what? He's out at 11 p.m. but the fight next day wasn't till 11. It wasn't the worst thing, was it?
That's fair.
But yeah, how much do you reckon Dylan get him for that fight?
I'd say between 500 and $1 million.
Yeah.
Really? That much?
Well, he's not going to do it for less. He's fighting Logan Paul.
Yeah,
Fair. I didn't think it would be that much.
probably about 500k. Let's say 500k. It could have. Yeah, I'm gonna say 500k, between 500 and a mil.
It's a nice amount, to be fair.
That leads us on to the main event, KSI Tommy Fury. This had everybody fucking talking. I want to get everyone's opinion on this as well because I have my own. I'll get this out the way. Look, I think we can all agree the fight wasn't a spectacle.
No, it wasn't a very good fight.
It wasn't a very exciting fight, but at the same time, you've got what would you call it? Like an unconventional style in JJ versus guys just being brought up boxing. If this was going to be won in a certain way, I don't think it was ever going to be a skillful fight in that sense.
Yeah, JJ probably knew that from the get-go.
And so was going to have to make it a weird fight.
Make it scrappy. He always said that, though. He was going to be unorthodox. It was going to be weird. You've never fought someone with this weird style. He was saying that in the build-up. And I think he knew that. So he did go in with his game plan. What were you expecting? JJ to have some amazing, incredible
Tommy Fury
technique
in
from 10... Like as if he's been doing this for all his life when he's been doing it for 5 years.
If that,
yeah. On and off too.
I completely agree. So the people saying that it was more boring or whatever, it's like, yeah, fine. But again, it was that I'm not sure what people expected out of this. For me, a lot of the super entertaining fights always tend to happen in the prelims and the fights leading up because that's where it's just nobody gives a shit and they're just swinging for the fences. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you saw with Jake Paul when he went against Tommy Fury, that was much more conventional. It's like proper boxing and he just got pieced up the whole fight. Yeah. Okay, so JJ's probably seen that and gone, okay, he's tried that technical route. You know, he's good. It's probably not going to work for me if it didn't work for him. So he's gone in, made it a war, and it actually did fucking work.
The fact that JJ has taken Tommy Fury, Amanda is from a bloodline of boxing, right, all the way to a very controversial decision says more about Tommy than it does JJ. And I think Tommy Fury is probably walking away from this while he does have the W in the boxing world. And he kept referring, he's done with this bullshit, I don't think he has an option now.
Yeah.
The real world of boxing is looking at that and going,
no fucking way, right?
Because if he fights,
what did you do? You went into a controversial decision with a YouTuber.
To be fair,
you can't then just go, I'm going to go back to real boxing and dominate over there. It's man, you're not.
3 fights, by the way. Okay, yeah, he did beat Jake Paul convincingly. Hasn't beat KSI convincingly at all. And then Anthony Taylor as well. That wasn't a good fight. And he's not a traditional boxer.
Yeah.
So it's just constantly, you can't do it against YouTubers / crossover boxing.
Yeah. So I think Tommy was there like, I'm done with this bullshit. I don't think he is.
I think
this is now, he is going to place himself as that guy at the top there that people will try and beat. And I think there'll be some rematches.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, by the way. I think for their family, they're going to think there's something wrong with it because they're the Furies and they shouldn't be at the top of crossover boxing. They should just be at the top of boxing in general.
Yeah.
Okay? Like the actual professional sport. So he'll probably be a little bit embarrassing for him if he just stays around there. But yeah, like you said, there's no choice. Surely he can't go into professional boxing. He barely's beating JJ.
Yeah. And I have no, like, fuck it. Hang about. And not only that, but his dad works perfectly into the crossover scene. Like, you want people to hype up fights, you've got John Fury. He's going to do that for you. So you've got that. That's fine. It's almost like it's a bit made for it, and I don't mind Tommy sticking around and doing that.
Fuck it, it's not even a bad thing. Making bags.
Yeah.
It's chilling, it's fun, it's entertaining. He's enjoying it. He's celebrating when he wins in the ring properly. So you can know it means a lot to him.
Yeah.
So what's the problem of just being that guy who's at the top of crossover boxing? Fuck it. Okay, maybe you're not going to live up to your brother in terms of that professional skill, but who gives a shit? You're still like at the top of this entertainment world, whatever this is.
So what did you actually think to the decision then, boys?
I thought it was wrong.
Was he robbed?
Wouldn't say it was robbed. I don't think watching it is very much a draw was the most fair result for me. I mean, with the points deduction, you could argue that maybe JJ should have won.
Yeah.
But I think with the points deduction, it was a draw.
What was the vibe in? You're obviously watching it with the boys. What did people think?
We thought he had won. We thought he'd won with the points deduction in mind, we thought he'd won.
So it was a draw and then points deduction.
Well, I was surprised when they said Tommy Fury at the end.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, it's going to go for JJ.
Yeah.
So we were disappointed. Like the boys were disappointed.
Of course.
Yeah, like the bookies had JJ winning as well in the final round.
1-5, by the way, which is a crazy. So in the final round, you can like live bet on these on who's winning. JJ was 1-5. So if you put on £5, you only win 1.
Yeah.
Right. AKA this is signed, sealed, delivered. JJ's winning, and then for it to be flipped like that. Look, I agree with you. I think a draw would have been a fair result. There was a lot of not boxing in there.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, like you said, if a draw, but then I think people would have been less surprised if it was given to JJ.
Yeah.
Because of the point deduction, and he would have won because of that. But I also think a draw, I think both of those fighters probably would have looked at each other and gone, fair enough.
Nobody, in my opinion, when watching it, did enough to be like, yeah,
I'm the winner.
Yeah, of course they're both going to think that because it's different for them. But when I was watching, I was like, there's no winner here.
Yeah.
I couldn't, honestly, Tommy had his couple moments, JJ had the moments. Also, I did think JJ was much better in the clinch. Like when they were clinching, I felt like he was landing a lot more shots. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it was just so scrappy. You could barely score any of the rounds. Yeah. And obviously, we don't know boxing, so it's not really fair to say. But I'm just sat there like, sometimes I'm thinking like, who's fucking winning this?
So we had the Pretty Little Thing box next to us, right? And I woke up, and that's obviously that's the PLT army in person.